What is up, spooky people? Welcome to another episode of Oddity Acres. Today, we are going to a very haunted location, part of Ohio local legend and lore. We are actually going to another cemetery. You guys love the cemetery videos. I've had some great comments on them. The views have been great. So we're going to do another one today. It's a fun little trip, not too far from the Cleveland area. But it's a cemetery that has a lot of local legend, as I said, around it. There is legend that part of the Ottawa tribe that inhabited that land before time, still haunts that area. It's said that it's been used for Indian burial grounds, lots of Native American spirits, but it's also been said that in the recent years, it's been used for things like witchcraft and the occult, different ceremonies, things like that. Now, obviously there's no documentation on a lot of this stuff. I mean, obviously there's documentation that the Ottawa tribe was there and in that area. But as I said, it is a local Ohio legend, and a lot of people have been there. There's been some other YouTube videos about people being there, and experiencing things. People swear, as I've read online, they swear that this place is haunted and they've had some of their most amazing experiences there. So it's worth checking out, and I want to take you guys along with us. So with that being said, buckle in and we will see you when we get there. Stay tuned. Tidbit before we get to our location is this location that we're going to is actually a mile or two away from where I'm standing right now. And where I'm standing right now is where they filmed a very famous horror movie called The Bye-Bye Man. Check this out. This is where the car was overturned. The train was coming straight down this tracks. You can see this yellow building in it. And this is where the accident happens.
Stop! Oh my God. Stop!
This is where the girl gets hit. The train's racing down from that direction. It's heading towards her. She starts running down the road where that car is coming. The boy's chasing her, and as soon as she gets to this railroad track, the train collides. See, because the car that she saw, the accident that was flipped over, that caused her to want to get out of the car, run back, and help them, was all an illusion created by the spirit, luring her onto the tracks. Leave it in the comments. You guys see The Bye-Bye Man? It's a pretty good movie, filmed all around Northeast Ohio. But this is where a very iconic scene happened. If you want to see all the locations, I also have a video on my YouTube channel. It's one of the earlier videos that I did, so you're going to have to dig back there quite a while. But I'll put the link in the description for you. It has all the filming locations in the area for The Bye-Bye Man. Check it out. Now, on the way to our haunted cemetery. All right, so this is where my driving journey ends and my walking journey begins. We are in the Cuyahoga Valley National Park, and it's absolutely beautiful out here. And we are on location. We have found the entrance to where we need to go to find this haunted cemetery. We are off the beaten path a little bit. So we are just off of Tinkers Creek Road in the Cuyahoga Valley National Park, as I said. And we are looking for Tinkers Creek Cemetery, or also known as Terra Vista Cemetery. I read back there on a sign. But we are heading uphill. Apparently there's a flat spot up on the top of this hill, or I guess midway up. And I guess it dates back until 1811, the cemetery at least, but the land dates back way farther. Sources say that the Native Americans, the Ottawa tribe, made this flattened spot on the hill one of their settlements. This is all incredibly uphill. I did not expect this. Now, it's said that before this was a cemetery, and the Native Americans were still on this property, their peace was interrupted 1786 by David Zeisberger and John Heckwild. These two were leading a group of Moravian missionaries, and reports say that when they got here, there were no Native Americans here. Others say that they drove them off the land. Obviously, it's lost in time to history, but sure makes you wonder. Now, after the missionaries laid claim to this land, they named it Pilgrims Rest, but they did not stay here very long. In fact, they only stayed here for 11 years. And in 1797, they took off, and the land was surveyed, and settlers from New England moved in, including a John Tinker. And that's where they got the name. Wow. I think I'm finally at the top of this hill, or in a flat spot at least. Wow. Sure is a long way up. It's so quiet up here. You can't hear any of the traffic. The wind is kind of blocked by the trees. Now, there are lots and lots of rumors. One of which is obviously that this land obviously belonged to the Ottawa tribe before the missionaries got here, and that the settlement that the missionaries created was actually on top of an Indian burial ground. That could be true. It could not be true. Who knows? I mean, I'm sure that the tribe would have to bury their dead somewhere, and if this was where their settlement was, it would have to be. So, I mean, it's probably very plausible. Some other people speculate that this whole area is covered with canals, and there's a lot of canal diggers when this whole place was being developed, and a lot of canal diggers died tragically on the job, and this is where they were buried. And so this is kind of one of those things where people think that that might be one of the reasons why, people find this place to be haunted or to be full of paranormal or spiritual activity. I've even heard that the missionaries and the Ottawa Indians at separate times while they were inhabiting this area found some sort of evil spirit or entity that lived in the land, and that's what caused both of them to evacuate so quickly. Much more recently, there's been a lot of reports of people doing occult stuff out here, witchcraft stuff out here. Again, I don't have any evidence of that. I don't have any proof of that, but if that's what's going on or if that's what happened, that would certainly bring some sort of energy, paranormal-wise, to this place. But look at these trees. And right ahead is our destination. This place sits all by its lonesome up here where no one even probably comes up to visit except for people like me who are looking to explore history. But look at this place. Wow, a lot smaller than I would have imagined. Wow. I mean, granted, it wasn't that hard to get up here, but I mean, this wasn't easy. I mean, you can't drive up here. I mean, you have to go through at least a half a mile hike up a steep hill and then another probably quarter mile in. So, I mean, not quite a mile, but it's a hike. I mean, especially if you're not in the best shape. No comment on that. But, I mean, it's really in the middle of nowhere. It's not like the normal cemeteries you see. You just drive by a road and you pull in and say hi to your grandparents and you leave. I mean, this is in the middle of nowhere. It's so crazy to see it. Check this out, you guys. This is it. This is the entire cemetery that I never knew existed. There's some older ones in the back, it looks like. We're going to take a minute and walk through everything and see how much of the epitaphs we can read. So this is the oldest one I've seen so far. It says died in 1865, it looks like. These, I mean, who knows how old they are. There isn't even any eligible writing that I can make out. I mean, these could date back all the way to the beginning of the cemetery. It's actually crazy. I can almost read it better through the camera. Elizabeth, wife of John. Oh, so this is the other side, and it says wife, John's wife. Died November 10th, 1896. This one I believe says July 1838. I can't make out a name though. You can see too that there are some locations where stones were, or pieces of them are left. Just little cement slabs. I couldn't find any record of how many people were actually buried here. I mean, I'm sure it's unknown. And again, if there were some people that were part of the Native American tribe, I mean, who knows? It could be hundreds, thousands. I mean, pretty crazy. So look at this place. This one says, in memory of Anne, wife of Joseph Mighton, who died March 21st, 1847, aged 28 years old. This one dates back the oldest so far. Dept Moses, who died 1811. 21 years old and 8 months. January. Looks like January 13th, 1811, or is that 1822? It's still the oldest so far. Phoebe, wife of William Moses, died October 2nd, 1873. Aged 88 years, 3 months, and 14 days. This looks like the Mann family. All three of these stones here. Sounds like they're doing some land management over here. To my knowledge, there's nothing else up here. So if you can hear that in the background, sorry for the noise. And then this is the last little plot of the cemetery. This is like the farthest back corner. And there's a lot of stones, as you can see, into the ground that have already fallen or been buried, but there's a few still standing up. And then if you look over here, you'll have a few that have been busted off over the years and are kind of beyond repair. They're missing pieces and all sorts of stuff. Fortunately, they're still here, and some jerk didn't steal them. This one's the oldest one. In memory of Hatch Comstock, who died November 8th, 1810, in the 40th year of his age. Adieu to all things here below. Vain world, I leave thy fleeting toys. Adieu to sin, fear, pain, and woe, and welcome bright eternal joys. This one says George Comstock, 1825. He died August 23rd. This one I can kind of make out. It says Julia Ann, wife of Stephen Comstock, who died July 20-something, 1833, at 39 years old. I lied, this is the farthest back corner, but these are absolutely unrecognizable. It's hard to make out any sort of lettering. And what they're to make out is kind of busted up. Looks like there was almost a stone back here in the wood line as well. So who knows what that would have said. We are quite far up here. You can see the river kind of way below through the trees. And that's where you gotta park to get all the way up here. I can definitely see why that the Ottawa tribe would have made this a settlement. I mean, it's up here on the hill. You can see everything around you. It's relatively flat. And the hill goes up farther. So, I mean, there's other levels to the flatness, I guess. I don't know if there's really a direct technical term for that, but I mean, this is as good of a place as any. Just look at this place though. So I found out that Fitch Comstock, upon a little bit of reading here, that he was the first person buried in the cemetery. He moved here with his brother George, who died in 1825 and is also buried here, from what is now Connecticut. So that's very interesting. And I guess they're both related to Stephen Comstock, who I'm guessing is next to Julia, his wife. And that would make sense because Fitch's brother, George, is right here. Hailing from Connecticut. You know what's absolutely crazy is that there's almost 200 years between George and I. And yet, through a little bit of research, I know his name, I know his family, I know where he came from, I know where he's buried now. It's crazy. And that's so cool. I mean, that's why I love doing this kind of stuff, because you learn history about people and things like that. And they say that you're never truly dead until the last person speaks your name. And I guarantee George did not think that he would still be talked about 200 years later in this little cemetery. I love the history and I love the story thing. I know you guys do too. You want to hear another one? Because this is cool. Check this out. So remember our friend William and his wife Phoebe? Well, they are also buried here next to their daughter, Dept. And what's really cool too is that William is a direct descendant of the Aldens, John and Priscilla, who came to this country on the Mayflower. How crazy is that? They are not buried here, however. So from what I've been able to research, it says that as far back as the records go and as settlers go, 66 people are buried over here in this small cemetery plot. There could be a few more, could be a few less, but that's what their rough estimate is. But that doesn't include any sort of Native American history. That doesn't include anybody that was here prior to the settlement being here. I think all the beautiful symbolisms that they put on monuments back then are just so incredible. Like when we were in Salem, Massachusetts, there's tons of cemeteries that have, you know, different writings and inscriptions. I don't know if the pictures, I could be wrong, somebody correct me in the comments, but I think the pictures are still included in the definition of an epitaph. So that's the term I'm going to use. But yeah, it's just so incredible. I mean, the way that they used to carve these out, especially back then, that's what makes coming to these cemeteries so interesting. You know what's really crazy too is that when I got up here, I'm like, wow, this is beautiful. This is so incredible. Let's get in here. Let's film this. Let's put out the stories and get out of here. And ever since I started talking about the stories and the people and the backgrounds and where they came from, I've had this like overwhelming feeling that I don't want to leave. Like I just want to stay here. I want to like just lay down and stare at the clouds and hang out and just spend time here. It's so crazy. It's kind of overwhelming. It's really, really strange. It's like such a peaceful, beautiful feeling. We just had some cute puppies come down the trail with their owner. Too cute. Yeah, as I said, this is all a state park, so if you're willing to hike it and come up here, it's worth it. You'll never know what you're going to find and what little bit of history you'll unlock. So with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching another episode of Oddity Acres. It means a lot, and I really appreciate you guys tuning in. I'm going to do the YouTube thing and ask you if you could please like and subscribe. If you like the video, it helps me out big time. If you subscribe, it helps me out even more. When you start liking and commenting and doing those things, it really boosts the algorithm. More people get to see the video, and it makes it all really worthwhile when I can do these projects and really get it out to the world and tell the stories of all these really cool individuals and the history behind, you know, a lot of different people's lives. So I should also mention that it is at this point inconclusive if there is any sort of paranormal activity going on here. You know, I don't know. I did not experience anything directly other than that very strange, overwhelming feeling of just wanting to stay. So I think that's a good thing. If you guys want to come check this place out, it is awesome. It's beautiful. It's worth the hike. I'll leave the little link in the description. If I can find a link to the actual like state park website, I'll leave it in there. But if I can't, I'll leave directions and stuff like that. So if you're in the area, you can certainly swing by. I actually used just the coordinates and Apple Maps, and it brought me right up here. So it worked out pretty well. And thank you so much. We appreciate you tuning in. And I will see you next time on another episode. Oddity Acres. Stay scared and happy Halloween. I actually wanted to jump back in real quick and mention something that just happened because I think it's worth mentioning. So I got down to the bottom of the hill here and was reading some of the signs, and one of the signs said, to report graffiti, call this number, and I think it was part of the state service. So I did notice that there was some derogatory terms. I didn't show it on the camera because we just didn't need to do that, but I did notice that there were some people that spray painted derogatory terms on some of the headstones, and you know, I say it in all these videos when we do cemetery videos, this is a place of resting for people. This is their final resting spot, and they can't fix that. They can't clean that up. That's what they have to live with and spend eternity with if you go and ruin something. So I don't know what kind of human being does that. Probably a really big piece of shit, to be honest with you. Sorry for my language, but so anyways, I called the number. It sent me over to the Park Service, and they were great. They were really nice. We did find out, though, that the cemetery is actually not part of their jurisdiction. So they transferred me over to the Valley View Police Department, and who was also fantastic. The dispatch was very, very pleasant and very nice to talk to, and she got all my information, and we got that reported over to the police so they can get the city to come out and take care of it, so it will be another beautiful cemetery and resting spot for these people. So just a little PSA. I mean, if you guys are going into cemeteries or you're going to explore, that's awesome, do it. But if you bring in trash, take out trash. Don't leave stuff around, and don't intentionally destroy or mess up people's final resting places. That's just horrendous. It should go without saying. I mean, I don't even know why I have to even bring it up, but yeah, we got it taken care of, and it will be a beautiful cemetery here again soon. So just wanted to bring that up. So thanks for watching, guys. Take it easy.